Thiruchitrambalam, Hara Hara Nama Parvati Badaye, Hara Hara Mahadeva, Sitsabesa, Sivasidambaram, Tenarude Sivane, Putri Natarku Mareva, Putri Thiruchitrambalam, எடுக்கும் மக்கதை தமிழ் செய்யுளாய் நடக்கும் மேன்மை நமக்கருள் செய்திட தடக்கை ஐந்துடை தாழ் செவி நீள்முடி கடக்களிற்றை கருத்துள் இருத்துவாம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்தோதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவிய நீர்மலிவேணியின் அலையில் சோதியின் அம்பலத்து ஆடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவான். சைவத்தின் மேற்சமயம் வேறிலை அதில் சார் சிவமாம் தெய்வத்தின் மேற் தெய்வம் இல்லனும் நான்மறை செம்பொருள் வாய்மை வைத்த சீர் திருத்தேவாரமும் திருவாசகமும் உய்வை தரச் செய்த நால்வர் பொற்றாள் எம்முயத் துணையே. தில்லைவாழ் அந்தனரை முதலாக சீர்படைத்த தொலையதாம் திருத்தொண்ட தொகைடியார் பதம் போற்றி உலையவர் புராணகதை உலகிலே விரித்து உரைத்த செல்வமலி குன்றத்தூர் செக்குழார் அடிபோற்றி. ஆதாரமாகிய மாணிக்க வாசகர் பாதார விந்தம் அடிவோம். பண்டு செய்த தீதான பாவங்கள் எல்லாம் தீர்ந்த ஞானோதயம் வந்து கூட்டிடுமே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Dear devotees, welcome back to the Periyapuranam Discourse series. By the mercy of the Almighty Lord Shiva, we have been thinking through the wonderful life history of 63 Nayanmars for some time. Let me pay my obeisance to the lotus feet of Thiruchitrambalam and also to the 57th Pontiff of Puranam Adino, Sri Guru Gomathinayagam, Rajasarana Manikasa Swami as well. So with the blessings of Almighty Lord Shiva, let's go ahead and get started. So today we are going to think through the wonderful history of the great Iyarpakai Nayanar. இல்லையே என்னாத இயற்பகைக்கும் அடியேன். That's the phrase from Thiruchitrambalam. If you recall what I said in the previous session, in Puranam, there were 6 devotees. The Lord took a form of a devotee. He came to the earth, did a holy game, and made the whole world realize the great service of his devotees, then took them back to Kailash. Iyarpakai Nayanar is one of them. And especially the history of Iyarpakai Nayanar, Sirutonda Nayanar, Manakanjara Nayanar, it's quite difficult to even understand the essence of what they really did. So one needs to have some level, some basic jnana to even understand why they did that, how they have been even able to do it. If we just tell this to trivial people who don't understand any of Shaivism, they'll just say, "What madness is this?" Because they just can't understand the essence of this Purana. So I hope the Lord Shiva will bless you to understand the core essence of this life history of our Nayanmars. So today, let's go ahead and get started with Iyarpakai Nayanar Puranam. Burban Iyarpakai Nayanar was born in Kaveri Pumbottinam. That was his native town. Kaveri Pumbottinam is part of Chola nation. And in the first song itself, Thiruchitrambalam Swami praises the greatness of the holy river Kaveri. He said, the river that meets the ocean in Kaveri Pumbottinam. So Kaveri even purifies the ocean with her divine. We already talked about the greatness of Kaveri in the very beginning of Periyapuranam, especially in Thiruchitrambalam, the hallowed country, where Thiruchitrambalam was comparing Kaveri river with goddess Parvati, Brahma, Shiva devotees, etc. So Nayanar was born in Kaveri Pumbottinam. Kaveri Pumbottinam also has another speciality. In ancient Chola's times, they had five key capitals for the entire Chola Empire. Urayur, currently we still call Urayur in part of Tiruchirappalli, that used to be the capital of Chola nation. Karur, and Tiruvarur, we all know that. And then Sengalur is the best, is the birthplace of our Sunday Nayanar. Sunday Nayanar birthplace, Sengalur. And then the fifth one, Puranam, also used to be the capital of Chola Emperor. And we have in Kaveri Pumbottinam, Nayanar was from Kaveri Pumbottinam. Actually, he got blessed in the city of Chaikad, Thiruchaikad. When Lord came in, he reached Chaikad, and then he took a photo. Then he gave him a darshan over the bull with goddess Parvati and blessed him. We still have the statues for Iyarpakai Nayanar and his great virtuous wife in Thiruchaikad temple. Thiruchaikad temple has got Devara hymns as well. 3 Padigam from Triyanasamba Swamigal and another one, Tiruthandakam from Upper Swami, 6th Thamurai. My favorite Devar hymns of Tiruchaikad is Manpuhar, amazing Tirupati. You must at least chant that once. When you get a chance, please do that. So going back to Puranam, Nayanar was born in Pumbuvar, Kaveri Pumbottinam. He was completely devoid of the natural attachment that usually all people have for the worldly things. Natural attachment. It can be anything: money, women, carnal pleasures, everything. Nayanar, by nature, he was completely devoid from all that. That's why he was opposite to the majority of the people seen in this world. So he was named as Iyarpakai Nayanar, an unusual person, unusual devotee. Iyarpakai Nayanar, which means he who is opposed to the real nature of human. He's not attached to this world. Or he was so devoted to Lord Shiva, had intense love and dedication. He was just thinking of the lotus feet of Shiva all the time and serving his devotees. He did not need anything else. He will give anything that Shiva devotees ask him for. He would never ever say no to anybody. That's why Illaye Ennada Iyarpakaikum. He never even thought about saying no. Forgot about saying it. He never thought about saying no. Illaye Ennada Iyarpakaikum. That was his service. So Nayanar was married to a very virtuous, great woman. They were Cheklaswami will even say Tiruvudai Manaviyar, means she just looked like Mahalakshmi. They both served Lord Shiva devotees at the best of their capacity. They had intense love with great dedication to serve Lord Shiva servants. So, as usual, just like how Shiva took a form of a devotee to play a holy game for Thiruchitrambalam Nayanar, which we discussed in the last session, Shiva wanted to make the whole world realize the generosity of Iyarpakai Nayanar and how great he is, where he never refuses to give anything to Lord Shiva devotees. So he wanted to play a holy game, a very rare holy game, just to let the whole world know the greatness of his devotees. So, as usual, he took a form of a Vedic Brahmin Shiva devotee, looked like a Vedic Brahmin Shiva devotee, and he went to Nayanar's house in Pumbugar. As soon as Swami came his home, Nayanar and his wife got excited. The couple welcomed Swami enthusiastically, and performed all the pada pujas, and all rituals they usually do for any other devotees. Then Nayanar made Swami feel very comfortable. Make sure he made him sit in an asana, made him feel very comfortable, and told him he is at his service and awaiting his order to serve him. And then the moment he said that, Swami replied to him, I have heard a lot about you, about your service, that you never say no to Lord Shiva devotees. You will give them anything that they ask you for. So I thought I will also come and meet you so that I can get what I want. If you're okay with that, I will ask. Then Iyarpakai Nayanar said, let me just say the exact phrase of Periyapuranam. Nayanar said, Yadum ஒன்று என்பக்கல் உண்டாகில் அன்னது எம்பிரான் அடியவர் உடைமை. ஐயமில்லை நீர் அருள் செய்யும். Which means, whatever thing that you want, if I have that, if I have something, it belongs to the servants of Lord Shiva. It's a property of Lord. So his servants also own that by default. So no doubt, if I have something, it belongs to the servants of Lord. You are the servant of Lord, that means it belongs to you too. So no doubt, Ayamillai, please tell me what you want. Then Swami dropped a bombshell by asking, I need your wife. Any other man would have become mad with rage at such request, right? It's a dharma. We can't even think about it. Paranmani Nayatal is a big sin. One should not. It's one of the Panchamapada, one of the 5 Panchamapada. So a real devotee will not do it. But here the Lord is asking him on purpose to show that Iyarpakai Nayanar has no attachment to this world. And then Nayanar happily replied, I'm happy that you asked me for something that I already have, which I can give you without any delay. I am at your service. He went to his virtuous and chaste wife. He told her, I gave you to this Vedic Brahmin, Shiva devotee. Please go with him. She was a bit worried for a second. She was extremely mature, amazing devotee. When Swami himself came from Kailash and asked for her, then imagine, she was so blessed. Blessed soul. She was a bit worried for a second. I will explain why she was worried. And then she became very clear. The next second, and she said, my Lord, very important. We all need to remember this. She said, does the slave, I am your slave. Does the slave have any right other than to do something that the Lord has ordered? I obey your order. Then Iyarpakai Nayanar, she's no longer his wife. She gave her to him, gave her to the devotee. Then she gave his respect to his wife. That at that point itself, that second itself, he started seeing as the devotee's wife, not his wife. And then Nayanar's, I can't even say Nayanar's wife because Nayanar himself said she's no longer his wife. So she paid his obeisance to Swami, Lord Shiva, and stood calmly next to him. Think about it. Can this happen anywhere? People, trivial people, when they hear this story, they will say atrocious, unbelievable. How this is madness. That's what anybody would say, right? The key is first let me tell you why he didn't even think about a second or not shocked to give his wife to Swami. Because Iyarpakai Nayanar, like I say, he is opposite to the any normal human being that is seen in the world. And he thinks that the whole world is the property of Lord Shiva. There's a living and non-living objects. Everything else is owned by Lord Shiva. Nothing belongs to him, including his wife, kids, anyone, wealth, everything. It's all Lord Shiva's property. And Lord Shiva properties, he sees Lord Shiva in the heart of Lord Shiva devotees. So he sees the devotees as self, Shiva. So it's Shiva's property. He just gave it back to him. It's not his property. Just like a cashier in the bank, he may have hundreds of crores money in the locker, but he cannot claim ownership for them. He needs to give it back to the respective client when they ask for it. So here he thinks it's Lord's property. The Lord is asking him, give it back to him. It's not my property. That's the message we need to understand. And now let me come back to why Nayanar's wife was a bit worried when she heard that I gave you to this devotee. Two things. She was ready to accept the order of her husband, Iyarpakai Nayanar. First thing she was worried about it, my husband, Iyarpakai Nayanar, is going against the promise he made in front of the holy fire during their marriage. It will become a sin for him. Oh my God, a Shiva devotee is getting a sin because of me. That's her first worry. The second worry is with the other devotee. Devotee, Lord Shiva informed devotee, he said, my new husband is going to get a sin of puranam, marrying another person's wife. Then anyway, she has no other choice other than accepting her husband's order. So then she became clear that within a second, and then she accepted Swami, Lord Shiva, as her husband. I'm going to keep refer Swami's name, the Vedic Brahmin as Lord Shiva here. Swami only came in his form. And then Nayanar's wife paid obedience to Lord Shiva and stood calmly next to him. And then Swami asked Iyarpakai Nayanar, I don't know how your relatives and the people in the city would react to this, right? So I wish if you could accompany us till we cross the limits of the city. Then Nayanar said, my apologies, I should have offered you this help. I'm so sorry that I made you ask me for this. Look at the level of love he has for his devotees. He gave him his wife, and now he's asking him to accompany him until he passed through the city. And he says, sorry, I should have done it before. I made you ask. It's a mistake from my side. So let me go get ready. Then Nayanar, he got his, he dressed up, all dressed up, thinking that maybe they may have to fight. He took his long sword and shield, and then he accompanied Swami and his wife. In the meantime, the news was spread across the city, his community, and they all found it atrocious. What the hell is that? Any man who would give away his wife as a gift to somebody else? What is this? What craziness this is? We got to stop this. Let's all go and stop that guy. And then they all got gathered with swords, spears, etc. And Iyarpakai Nayanar was going along with Swami and his wife, and they came and surrounded them. Hundreds of people came. All of them are blood relatives of Iyarpakai Nayanar's kith and kin. And then a senior person from that group asked Iyarpakai Nayanar, Iyarpakai, what happened to you? Have you gone crazy? Who on the earth would do this? Have you even thought about the disgrace that our country and our community will get by doing this? Then Iyarpakai Nayanar said, I gave my wife to this devotee, Shiva devotee. It's my promise. Don't come in between us. Don't come our way. Get away from us. If you try to stop us, all of you will get killed. And then they replied, we would rather get killed instead of allowing this craziness to happen. And then Swami, Vedic Brahmin in the form of Swami in the form of Vedic Brahmin, he was showing as if he was so afraid. And then Iyarpakai Nayana's wife said, don't worry, my lord. Iyarpakai will defeat all of them because I know him. And Iyarpakai Nayanar said, my lord, don't worry. I will kill all of them. Don't worry, you'll be safe. Then Nayanar gives them a final warning. It's my final warning, get away from us. They didn't listen to it, and they tried to attack. They were approaching to get close to Swami. Then Iyarpakai Nayanar started fighting with the whole group, and he killed all of them. No one could stand against Iyarpakai Nayanar. Deva Chekla Swami was comparing Iyarpakai Nayanar to a male tiger fighting with other animals. All of them got killed. There was no one left on the field except Iyarpakai Nayanar, standing alone, holding the sword with full of blood of his own relatives. Nayanar, who gave his rich and chaste wife to Lord Shiva after killing all his relatives who were trying to obstruct the fulfillment of his promise to the Shiva devotee, he went to Swami, said, I am coming along with you until you pass through this forest, so that you will not be afraid of anyone. Let's go. And then there's an amazing song, they will check from Periyapuranam. திருவுடை மனைவியாரைக் கொடுத்து உன் இடை செறுத்து முன்பு வருபெரும் சுற்றமெல்லாம் வாளினால் துணித்து மாட்டி அருமறை முனியை நோக்கி அடிகள் நீர் அஞ்சா வண்ணம் ஒருவரும் காண நீங்க விடுவன் என்றார். Don't worry, I'm coming along with you until you pass through this forest. Then they would check, then Iyarpakai Nayanar going in the front with a sword and shield. And then all right, we have a slight internet connection issue. So for that, the Chekla Swami says this. Let's have a look at the actual phrase from Periyapuranam. இருவரால் அறிய ஒன்னா ஒருவர் பின் செல்லும் ஏழை means Brahma and Vishnu, both of them cannot see the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. Shiva is going, and then after Lord, Nayanar's wife was following. பொறுதிரள் வீரர் பின்பு போக உன் போகும் போதில் Nayanar was shielding both of them. அருமறை முனிவன் சாய்க்காடு அதன் மருங்கனைய மேவி திருமலை தோழினானை மீளனச் செப்பினானே. Then they reached Thiruchitrambalam, Shiva temple, Thiruchitrambalam, the outskirts of Kumbhar. They reached Thiruchitrambalam. Then Swami told Nayanar, you may return now. Think about that moment, devotees. He gave his dear wife to Shiva. He killed all his blood relatives and he shielded them until they passed through the forest. And now they reached the outskirts of the city. And now Swami says, you may return now. Iyarpakai Nayanar bowed his head to the feet of the devotee, Lord Shiva, and then worshipped him. Felt so blessed that he attained the bliss of receiving the lordship of this great devotee. Think about the love and unimaginable dedication he had for Lord Shiva and his devotees. He had performed the good deed that no one could ever do. That's why Shiva came from Kailash. Then Nayanar started going back home. What would he do? What would he do by going back home? He killed all his relatives. He gave his wife to Shiva. He didn't think about anything. He was focused on fulfilling his service and his promise for that day for Shiva devotee. That's it. That's all he had in his mind. He was walking. Swami was looking at him. Nayanar's wife was just standing calmly next to Swami. Iyarpakai Nayanar started walking. But Swami could not control. He says, Swami said, பொய்தரும் உள்ளம் இல்லான் பார்க்கிலன் போனான் என்று. He couldn't control. பொய்தரும் உள்ளம் இல்லான் means his heart doesn't go after the worldly, carnal pleasures. He doesn't even look back. See that? மெய்தரு சிந்தையாரை இளவும் அழைக்கலுற்றான். இயற்பகை முனிவாவோலம் ஈண்டு நீ வருவாய் ஓலம் அயற்பிலாதானே ஓலம் அன்பனே ஓலம் ஓலம் செயற்கரும் செய்கை செய்த தீரனே ஓலமென்றான் மயக்கரு மறையோலிட்டு மாலையன் தேட நின்றான். The Vedas could not recognize the Lord. Brahma and Vishnu could not see his lotus feet. That Lord, Shiva, is now calling his devotee to shelter him. Iyarpakai, please come. Please come. Come here. Give me a shelter. Lord Shiva was calling him. The moment he heard that, Iyarpakai Nayanar, hearing that voice from Swami, he said, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm come. If there are anyone else left who has kept with their lives to harm you, they will be cut down by the mighty long-armed sword. Immediately he returned, and then he couldn't see the Vedic Brahmin. He vanished away. He just saw his wife, and then all of a sudden, the sky, he saw Lord Shiva with his consort goddess Parvati standing, sitting on top of the great bull, like a golden mountain shining from the top silver mountain. Both of them stood, and then Nayanar immediately fell down on the ground, worshipped the Lord without any delay. He stood up and worshipped. Lord Shiva said, Iyarpakai, there is no limit to your service. I'm very impressed and happy. Come to me, live a long, happy life in Kailash. The time is up. Come along with your wife. I'm taking both of you to Kailash. Then he took both of them back to Kailash. And then the whole world, right, was wonderstruck by the great service of Iyarpakai Nayanar and prized him an unusual and superior devotee of Lord Shiva. Let's end the session today with the Iyarpakai Nayanar Puranam. Thiruchitrambalam இல்லையே என்னாத இயற்பகைக்கு முடியே திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். என்றும் இன்பம் பெருகும் மேலும் ஒன்று காதலித்து உள்ளம் ஓங்கிட மன்றுளார் அடியார் அவர் வான்புகழ் நின்றது எங்கும் நிலவே உலகலாம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.